Hey everybody, good to be back with you here again. We've got the Giants, the Doves here back in 1908. A quick look at the standings here will let you see where we're at. Giants is still early. I know we're about 2 weeks into the season. Giants are 2.5 games out. Boston's 4.5 games out in the National League and seems to be sinking pretty quickly. And the National League doesn't quite have that great parity that the American League is seeing. This actually kind of mirrors what happened in real life, by the way. At this point in time, in the American League, the Tigers were also in like 7th or 8th place or something like that, maybe 6th. And you were looking at a bunch of American League teams that were really, really close. Interestingly enough, here, two of the teams that at the end of the season in 1908 were up near the top, the Tigers and the Cleveland Naps, are currently at the bottom of the league. The White Sox, the other team that were near the top, are still playing pretty well, but have some problems. You can't see things here like, the number of runs scored per team and stuff like that, but that's where the White Sox are really having some problems scoring runs at all. And here we go with the Giants playing in Boston. This will be Fred Tenney to start this off, and he rolls an 11 right out of the gates. Big roller, and then a 15 for a 6. There's a chance for a home run, but it rolls a 66. And that means it's a double for Tenney, and that'll bring up Larry Doyle. Runner on at second base, nobody out, and here is Doyle. He rolls a 33 for another 0. Boy, Giants are going double column today. Sorry for my voice as I'm trying to get done with this throat lozenge. The next rolls a 35 for a 6. That's a double, and that will score the runner. Here comes Roger Bresnahan with a runner on at second base and 1-0 lead. His roll is a 26 for a 22. That's changed to an 18. That's going to be a ground ball over to the shortstop Dahlin, who boots it and then ends up throwing over. I'm sorry, no, it's a fielder's choice. So that's a ground ball over to Dahlin, who throws over to third for the out to Sweeney, and Bresnahan goes over to first. Now, this isn't written here in the game itself, but if you know about baseball, this is a really, really poor running decision by Doyle, who really should be holding at second instead of going to third with that ground ball hit right in front of him. And so he takes a gamble, and it doesn't pay off, and there's one away here from Mike Dahlin. Dahlin rolls a 22 for a 7, and that's a base hit. That will send Bresnahan up to second. One out here in the top of the first. Runners on a first and second for Cy Seymour. Seymour rolls a 51 for an 8. And that's going to be a little ground ball over to Sweeney at third base. Throws the first for the out. The runners advance. They're 2 away now, and here's Art Devlin with runners on second and third, as the Giants have done a pretty good job here in the first inning. Devlin rolls a 45 for a 14, and he will take his base. That'll bring up Josh DeVore. Josh DeVore, who hasn't hit much of anything at all this year. And I'm trying to remember why it is we're starting him. I think that we ran out of outfielders. I think that's the reason why. DeVore will roll 35 for a 40. And that's an unusual play number. And that ends up being a base on balls, and that will score the run. And that is better, at least, than having the infield in. Of course, with 2 outs, the infield's not coming in at all. And here comes Al Bridwell now, 2-0 Giants in that unusual play. His roll is a 63 for a 31. That's a fly ball over to center field. Beaumont has it for the out. We go to the bottom of the first inning, and it's 2-0 Giants. Here's Claude Ritchie, rolls a 51 for an 8. That's a little pop-up over to Devlin, a third. One away. Your speech is Graham. Graham rolls a 35 for a 42, and he gets hit by the pitch, and that'll bring up Johnny Bates, runner on at first base. Bates rolls a 45 for a 14, and that is a walk. Even though Mathewson has the ZZ rating, it doesn't impact the situation, so he does give up the walk with that runner on at first base, and that'll bring up Ginger Beaumont with runners on at first and second. He rolls a 32 for a 26. That's a little pop-up over to Doyle for an infield fly. 2 away, and here's Bill Dahlin. Bill rolls a 65 for a 35, and that's a little foul out over to Bresnahan, the catcher. We go to the top of the second inning, and here is Christy Mathewson, and he rolls a 21 for a 13. Strikes out as much at the plate as he did on the mound, and one away, and here's Fred Tenney. He rolls a 61 for a 37. That's changed to 41. A little ground ball over to Dahlin, who throws to first for the out. 2 away, and Larry Doyle now rolls a 22 for a 7. There's a single to right field. Hit number 4 for the Giants, and here comes Roger Bresnahan. He rolls an 11 for a 0. Another 0 for New York. And this time it's a 23 for a 6. And if he gets an 11, it might be a home run. Nope, he doesn't. It's a 23. That's a double, but it will score the run. 3-0 for the Giants as Bresnahan is out at second. 2 outs, and here's Mike Dahlin. Dahlin rolls a 23 for a 32. It's a fly ball to right field. Bates has it for the out. We go to the bottom of the second. Dan McGann up there rolls a 63 for a 31. Fly out over to Seymour in center for the out. One away. George Brown will roll a 66 for a 0. and a 62 afterwards for a 2. That's going to be a triple. First hit off of Mathewson goes deep to left center field for a triple, and that'll bring up Bill Sweeney. 3-0 Giants. They're going to keep the infield back here, and Sweeney rolls a 13 for a 14, and that is a walk. That'll bring up the pitcher, Patsy Flaherty. So Mathewson, no strikeouts so far and 2 walks. Here's Patsy, who rolls a 42 for a 13 for a strikeout. Decided not to bunt with him because you're down by 3. It doesn't make much sense. Richie now rolls a 12 for a 25, and that's going to be a ground ball over to shortstop. It is Bridwell who has it, flips over to second base to Doyle for the out. We go to the top of the third. Giants able to get out of that jam, and here's Cy Seymour. That's what they call pitching at a pinch. Seymour rolls a 12 for a 25. Here's a little E-roll. It's a 64 out of the range. That'll be a little ground ball over to Richie at second base. Throws over to first for the out, 1 away, and here's Art Devlin. Devlin rolls a 64 for a 13, and there's a strikeout. 2 away for Josh DeVore. He rolls a 24 for a 13, and there's another strikeout. We go to the bottom of the third, and here is Peaches Graham for Boston. Peaches hits a 16 for a 26. That's a ground ball to Doyle. Throws to first for the out, 1 away. Here is Johnny Bates. And Bates rolls a 62 for a 12. That's a little pop-up over to Tenney at first, 2 away. And here's Ginger Beaumont. Rolls a 65 for a 35. And the next roll is a 45. Little E-roll, rather. That's a little pop-up over to Tenney at first for the out. We go to the top of the fourth, and here's Al Bridwell. Bridwell rolls a 45 for a 14, and there's a walk given up by Flaherty, his 3rd walk given up. That'll bring up Christy Mathewson, who we're going to have hit away with a 3-run lead. No need to bunt. He rolls a 45 for a 14, and he gets the walk. So unfamiliar position for Mathewson being on the bases with Fred Tenney up there. Nobody out. Runners on at first and second, top of the fourth. Tenney rolls a 52, and that's going to be a double play ball. That's a ground ball over to Sweeney, who goes over to Richie for 1, on to McGann at first for the double play. I don't think that Mathewson was going to go down low to try to break that one up. 2 away, and here's Larry Doyle coming up with the runner on third. Doyle rolls the 12 for a 24. There is a little E-roll, and it's going to be a 21 within the range. And boy, that's bad luck for Boston, and that's a ground ball that eats up Dahlin, the shortstop, scores the run, and it's 4-0 Giants. And here is Roger Bresnahan. Rolls a 62 for a 12. That's just going to be a little ground ball over to Richie at second base, who flips over to Dahlin, the shortstop for the out. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Dahlin now rolls a 44 for an 8. That's a little ground ball over to Bridwell, the shortstop. Throws to first for the out, 1 away. Dan McGann now gets up there, and he will roll a 34 for a 44. Little E number coming, and the little E rolls a 26, and that's outside of the range. That's a fly ball over to Seymour, the center fielder, for the second out. George Brown rolls a 25 for an 8, and that's another fly ball over to Seymour. We go to the top of the 5th, and here's Mike Dahlin. Dahlin rolls a 14 for a 43. Fly ball to left field is Brown, who has it for the out, 1 away. Cy Seymour rolls a 31 for a 9. That'll be a pop-up over to Sweeney at third base, 2 away, and here's Art Devlin. He rolls a 61 for a 42, and he's hit by the pitch. Here comes Josh DeVore, and he rolls a 42 for a 13 again. I don't know how many times he struck out today. I feel like it's been that's his 2nd strikeout, as I can see right here. The walk and 2 strikeouts. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and here is Bill Sweeney. Sweeney rolls a 12 for a 24, and the little E rolls a 12 again, and that's going to be an error on the shortstop. This time, charge that one to Bridwell. There's a runner on at first base here for Patsy Flaherty. And he rolls a 54 for a 45. It's a fly ball to Dahlin in right field for the first out. And here's Claude Ritchie, who rolls a 25 for an 8. That'll be a ground ball over to Devlin. The third baseman throws to first for the out, and Sweeney moves up to second. And here is Peaches Graham. Graham rolls an 11 for a 7, and that's a base hit. That'll score the runner and make this a 4-1 ball game. And here is Johnny Bates. Now, 65 is the roll, 35 is the result, and that's a pop-up over to Bresnahan, the catcher. We'll go to the top of the 6th inning. Giants up 4-1 now, and here is Al Bridwell, and he rolls a 43 for a 29. That's a little comebacker over to Flaherty. He throws to first for the out, 1 away, and here is Christy Mathewson again, and he rolls a 61 for a 27. Makes contact this time, ground ball to Sweeney at third, throws to first for the out, 2 away, and it's Fred Tenney. He rolls a 23 for a 29. This time it's a comebacker again to Flaherty and throws over to first for the out. We go to the bottom of the 6th, and here's Ginger Beaumont. Beaumont rolls a 51 for an 8. That's a ground ball over to shortstop. Bridwell has it, throws to first for the out, 1 away. Bill Dahlin now rolls a 15 for a 10. That's a single to center field. That'll bring up Dan McGann, and let's take a quick look here at Dahlin, as we usually do. He doesn't have that 11. We're going to shy away from that hit and run. I don't care how many 31s McGann might have. And he rolls instead an 11 for a 7, and that's going to be an infield hit, or a hit to right center field. Dahlin stops the second, and that'll bring up George Brown in a probable bunting situation, maybe? I don't know. What do you think we should do here? Yeah, I think we want to bunt and get to Sweeney, so let's do that. And the roll here is a 61 for a 32. That's exactly what you want to see with the bunt, because that's instead of being a fly ball to right field that does nothing, that's a bunt over to Devlin, who has to throw over to Doyle, covering the bag at first for the out, 2 away. And here comes Bill Sweeney now with runners on at second and third. Chance for Boston to score again, maybe make this a close game. And Sweeney rolls a 54 for a 45, and that's the fly ball over to Donlin and right for the out. We go to the top of the seventh, and is Larry Doyle. Doyle rolls an 11 for a 0. And then a 45 for a 6, and that's a double again. Second double he's had in this one. That'll bring up Roger Bresnahan, 1 for 3 today. He rolls a 22 for a 7. There's a single to score the run. It's 5-1 Giants. You had a feeling that was going to happen. This will bring up Mike Donlin. He rolls a 23 for a 32. Fly ball over to Bates in right field, 1 away. And here's Cy Seymour. He rolls a 63 for a 31. Fly ball to Beaumont, this time in center, 2 away. And here's Devlin. He rolls a 66 for a 0. This is going to be it for Flaherty. And a 56 for a 6, and then the next roll is a 66 out of the range. That means that this will be a 6. It will be a double that will score Bresnahan. Flaherty's leading off the next inning. We'll take him out then. Here's Josh DeVore, the runner on at second base, 6-1 Giants, and Josh rolls a 16 for a 26. That's a ground ball over to the second baseman Richie. Throws to first for the out, and that makes it a 6-1 ball game here. As we go to the bottom of the seventh inning, Josh DeVore, I kind of want to look up more about this guy, see if I can understand more about him. Joe Kelly is going to be the pinch hitter here. Joe Kelly will pinch hit for Boston. And he rolls a 13 for a 14. And that's going to be a ball against Christie. And then it's going to be a 25 for a 10. And there's a base hit for Kelly. That'll bring up Claude Ritchie with the runner on at first base. And I think Kelly, he's not necessarily that fast. We're going to play it a little bit safe with him. The roll is a 56 for a 30. There's a fly ball over to left field, and DeVore has it for the first out. And here's Peaches Graham. Graham rolls a 24 for a 13, and there's a strikeout 2 away, and that'll bring up Johnny Bates. And Bates rolls a 23 for a 32. It's going to be a fly ball over to Seymour in center field for the out. We're going to have to do something a little bit sneaky here. So let's see if I can do it right this time. We want to change the position. We're going to put Kelly over in right field, and then we're going to change Bates out, and instead we're going to put in a relief pitcher. Let's see who we want. Lindemann, I know, is a starter. Young is a starter. It's probably between these two, Ferguson and Dorner. I think we'll use Ferguson. Yeah, we're going to do Ferguson here. And now we're going to change his position over to pitcher. I think there is a way to do it both at the same time, but I have not yet figured it out. So Ferguson is the pitcher here for the Doves in the top of the eighth inning, as he will face Al Bridwell to lead things off. Bridwell rolls a 54 for a 45. That's a fly ball over to right field, and it is Kelly who has it for the out, 1 away. Here's Mathewson, who rolls a 53 for a 21. That's changed to 17. That will be a single over Kelly's way, and then he boots that one for an error, and Christie ends up on second. He's on base again. How about that? Runner on at second base, 1 out for Fred Tenney. Tenney rolls a 33 for a 7. That'll score Mathewson. 7-1 Giants now, and here's Larry Doyle. Doyle rolls a 51 for an 8, and that's a little ground ball over to third base. Sweeney has it for the out, throws to first for the second out, and here's Roger Bresnahan with a runner on second again, and he rolls a 44 for a 7. There's another base hit for scoring a runner. It's 8-1 Giants, and here's Mike Donlin. Donlin rolls a 63 for a 31. That's going to be a fly ball over to Beaumont in center field, and we go to the bottom of the eighth inning. This will bring up Ginger Beaumont with down by 7. And his rolls a 46 for 27. A little ground ball, or it's a strikeout rather for Mathewson. That's the third strikeout for Mathewson. I think I may have missed 1 or 2 of those. Bill Dolan now rolls a 64 for a 22, changed to a 21. That's going to be an error on Tenney. That'll put him on at first. And here's Dan McGann. McGann rolls a 41 for the 28. That's a ground ball over to the shortstop. Bridwell throws to first for the out, 2 away. And here's George Brown. And he rolls a 12 for a 32. And that is going to be I'm not sure what has happened here with the game. All right. Just a second. Let's see if I can figure out what's going on. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. That actually only took a second or two. I guess that 32 was too much for the game to handle, as that was the fly ball over to Donlin in right field. We'll go to the top of the ninth inning again. Cyrus, I hope you're watching this, because you might see there are a couple of little bugs still in the system. Cy Seymour rolls a 12 for a 25. That is a ground ball over to the second baseman, Richie, who throws to first for the out, 1 away. And here's Art Devlin. Rolls a 42 for a 39. That's changed to 41. That's a ground ball to the shortstop, Dolan, who throws the first 2 away for Josh DeVore. He rolls a 44 for a 9. That's a single, and then he will be caught trying to steal. And we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, and here's Bill Sweeney, and it's all over by the shouting. Sweeney rolls a 24 for a 13 and strikes out. Strikeout number 4 for Christy Mathewson. Here comes Joe Kelly. Kelly's up next. I'm going to say, I don't think the week came to Ferguson. He rolls a 54 for a 45. That's a fly ball over to Dolan and right, 2 away for Claude Ritchie. He rolls a 55 for an 8, and that's going to be a fly ball over to Seymour in center field for the 3rd out. And so it's been a little bit over 15 minutes, but in a very quick amount of time, the Giants are able to beat the Doves 8-1. Hope you've enjoyed this game, and I will come back at you tomorrow with another one, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.